Hey everyone, this is Dave Tate with more band programming, I guess is what you would call it. Keep in mind that this isn't just quarantine training. These band workouts that I'm giving to you that were in the last video and this one as well are different training, I don't want to really say workouts, but different training progressions that can be added into your current strength training program, or when you get back to the strength training program again, to help bring up different capacities. So they can be used as extra workouts is kind of what I'm saying. So they can be used as extra workouts for recovery, extra workouts to bring up weak body parts, positions, however you want to define that one, and conditioning as well. So I'm going to get to it. I presented, I think, 3 or 4 last video I did. I wonder if Josh is actually watching this, if he can put a little box up there to show where the video is so you can click through to that, and then we'll do that. Maybe I'm supposed to point up. I don't know how the fuck that's supposed to work. Anyhow, we're going to start with spider crawls or rack walks. They're both essentially the same thing. With that, you're going to put a band between your wrists, spread the band apart, and then walk up and around a wall or up and down a rack. With these, what you want to do is to count how many times you move your hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And on, like the last protocols that I laid out, there's going to be 4 sessions. So these sessions can be 3 in 1 week. It can be 1 per week for, there's 4 sessions. So 1 per week for 4 weeks, or 2 per week, however you want to lay it out. They're just progressions based upon the movement that you're going to be doing. So personally, I like to see them once or twice a week. Now, if it's the only thing that you're able to do, then 3 or 4 times a week would be fine, but it's not really necessary if you're doing the other training. So optimally twice a week. So session 1 will be 1 round of 20. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Session 2, which can be that next week, or it can be a couple days later, 3 days later, however you want to lay it out, doesn't really matter. 2 rounds of 20. And then session 3, you're going to take it down, and it's going to be 1 round of 20. And then session 4, 3 rounds of 20. So we're going to go up, down, and then up higher. So there's different progression models with each one of these exercises, and I put it on the graph so you can kind of see what it is. That's the reason for that is when everything's always linear, it's not always going to work the way that you want it. It's okay for some movements, some progressions. None of these progressions that I'm laying out are magic. They're just progressions that I've seen work better for these situations and the way that it is. So the spider crawls and the rack walks, 4 sessions, progressing from 1 round to 3 rounds of 20 repetitions. The next movement is Tricep Creepers. Now what this is instead of, you're going to use a standing tricep extension, and you're going to use multiple bands. So they can be mini bands, they can be light bands. It doesn't really make any difference. Using like 2 light bands is probably going to be too much. So 2 or 3 mini bands it's a lot. 2 or light band or mini bands, is a lot. On these, you're going to go on failure. So you're going to do, if you have 2 bands, you're going to go to failure with that band. Then you're going to drop the band and go with the other band. So it's a strip set. So you have 2 bands in your hands, go to failure with the first band, and drop the band off, and then go to failure with the second band. Session 1, 1 set to failure. Session 2, 2 sets to failure. Session 3, 3 sets to failure. Session 4, 2 sets to failure. So this time we're ramping up and then down. And then if you want to repeat it, it's going to go back up again. That's the Tricep Creepers. Next exercise is going to be seated leg curls. Sit on a bench, hook the band around your heels, leg curl back, just seated leg curls. No trick about it. I'll get to this in a minute. But anyhow, session 1 here, 2 sets of 10. Session 2, 3 sets of 10. Session 3, 2 sets of 15. Session 4, 3 sets of 15. So this progression is going to go up, hold, and then up again. Next exercise is band abduction. So you want to sit down, have your hips lower than your knees. Doesn't matter how much lower, wherever your mobility, flexibility, whatever you want to call it is. And you're going to force your knees out against the band. This is also going to be going to failure. If you can do 100 reps, then just move slower. I'll talk about tempo here once I get through all these. Session 1, 2 sets to failure. Session 2, 3 sets to failure. Session 3, go back down, 2 sets to failure. Session 4, ramp up, 4 sets to failure. So again, up, down, up is what you're going to be doing here. As far as the band tension goes and failure and so forth, I understand some of you may not have enough bands. Some of you, the bands may be too light. Remember, you can control the tempo, and the tempo can control how many repetitions you're going to do. So say on the seated leg curls, if 2 sets of 10 is super easy, then just move it way slower to where a set, the 10th rep is going to be hard to do. So control the tempo to make the training harder and where it needs to be. All these here are great for the applications that I discussed in the beginning of the video. If you want me to keep doing these, let us know in the comments below, and I'll keep knocking them out. They're actually pretty easy for me to do. And what else am I supposed to say? Subscribe, hit the notifications. It does help. And your comments help as well, because we're trying to figure out what type of content you guys really want. And all we really have to go off of is the views, which I really don't think is a good metric to determine quality of content. I think everybody will agree with that. There's a lot of crap quality content with a lot of views, and that's not really a huge metric. I'm more concerned about putting out content that you guys want. So let us know in the comments below, and subscribe, hit notifications, or whatever you're supposed to do. I don't know. See ya.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my